Web3, so basically have communication that's decentralized, incentivized, and secured. Thanks to our friends from B3 for the motto. So now talk about light nodes. So we realized early on that we need to distinguish between two types of nodes. Ones that are constantly online and therefore are reliable for storing chunks, and the nodes that have high churn, basically that you just open your laptop and close it, and or you have your mobile device. And in general, we call this distinction light node as opposed to full node, or light mode of operation, maybe you can call it. It's basically about mobile support. Let's simplify the things. So it's concerned with not only the high churn, but also the difference in the resources of the environment, the resources that are available for Swarm. So low bandwidth, usually probably low memory as well, and short on disk space, and there's various issues that we came across when trying to support mobiles. Some of them are kind of boring platform-specific issues. I'm not going to talk about them. Permission issues, so in general, what's the chance of a restricted resource client to connect to Swarm? Well, there's potential gateways, like gateways that might be accessible through others, like for example the one that the Swarm team or the Ethereum Foundation is running, the Swarm cluster, which we run a public gateway. This is not really intended to be long-term. This is kind of just for easy access now through the development, but obviously when the incentivization is coming on the mainnet, this is going to cost money, so we might only do that for marketing purposes for short-term. And as you heard as well, remote gateways are not appropriate for hosting to retrieve encrypted content from. There's also private gateway solutions, so you run your own remote node. For example, that node is supporting that. And what I'm going to talk about here is just light mode of operation, which is like how we natively support this type of operation where you have low resource environments. So basically, we distinguish these two node types, and in the zero phase, what we already accomplished, kind of almost dev ready, is that light nodes, when light nodes are treated differently. They are not saved in the address book of your peers. They are not dialed, so actively looked for. They just accept it as a connection. Since they don't store chunks, they also not doing syncing process. So they're not syncing, not taking part in the transport of chunks to their local neighborhood where they belong in the distributed storage of Swarm. They're not serving retrieve requests since they cannot store. And also, in order to respect the redundancy properties of Swarm, they also not counted in the local neighborhood. So once we have that, we're going to be a lot more tolerable towards high churn. And especially if we set the light node as the default mode of operation, and people who run like permanent nodes, we explicitly have to set it to full nodes. So this will contribute to the resilience of our network. Now, I talk about the roadmap. So what's coming up next? We started rewriting the swap protocol, the Swarm accounting protocol, which is basically the peer-to-peer tit-for-tat accounting that's serving as bandwidth incentivization and serving to regulate and basically optimize bandwidth resource allocation. And we ported the old code and actually rewrote quite a bit of it and simplified the code. So that's what's going to come up next in a few releases time. We are planning on introducing spam protection. So basically protection against people flooding the Swarm network with chunks by having to attach, making sure that people have to attach a proof of burn. So some sort of basically proof of work to the chunks. And also the first phase of erasure coding is going to be implemented very soon, which takes care of, basically it's not the erasure coding, so there's two layers of erasure coding. One would be to take care of catastrophic loss, and this one, the first phase, is just guarantees, basically gives an upper bound to the retrieval latency in the network. So That's in the immediate roadmap. Also on the immediate roadmap, that we kind of moving to a new cluster setting. So we're going to be able to spawn really big scale network tests in a real setting. So that's Anton and Rafael are working on a Kubernetes cluster that's going to be able to start spot instances, and therefore our network testing framework is going to be able to test like really complicated emergent network scenarios. Okay, so what else is on the roadmap? As usual, we're still very heavily researching how exactly we do storage insurance. Then we now have like a two-layered system that's we're planning. The Swapser and Swindle framework, which is a generic framework for basically our take on state channel networks, and also a contract support for service level agreements that are challengeable on the blockchain. So it's kind of our take on state channels combined with the blockchain as a judge paradigm. So the Swapser and Swindle contract suite has been developed and tested by Ralph Pilher from Riyadh. So it's on our roadmap to finish this part and introduce the option to have like service networks on Swarm. There's heavy research on databases on Swarm, and we realized that there's a lot of usability issues in general with Swarm. So we're gonna put a lot more effort into developing and supporting dev tooling, so basically bindings in various languages, and most prominently provide better JavaScript support together with some of our friends and allies in the ecosystem. So that's about it for the update. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Viktor. So I said that's about it. It would be a miss at this point if we didn't mention that there's more to Swarm than just the Swarm team. The community has grown this year. We've gotten a lot of contributions from third parties. The always awesome mainframe. Status has been helping us with the mobile devices. We've got Volk on databases. Data Fund is awesome. They make orange sweatshirts and other orange gear for us. That's wonderful, guys. So thank you, everyone on this list and everyone else who's joining the Swarm community. This is the team at the Orange Summit last year. We have one Swarm Orange Summit every year. We'll hopefully have one next year, so you're welcome to attend. Keep a lookout for that. Here's our contact. We have, I've already mentioned swarm.ethereum.org. We've started our own Twitter and Reddit called ETH Swarm. I promise there's not a lot in there. This is a low traffic environment, but that's where you get updates. We'll make release announcements, and when we have a talk somewhere or when our Orange Summit is coming up, that's where you look. That's our Gitter, swarm@ethereum.org if you want to talk, if you want to write to us directly. Otherwise, come find someone in Orange at the conference and come talk to us. Thank you very much.